Chapter 11. Force and Pressure. Concept of force. For example, kicking a football, beating a drum, etc. We have to act in many ways. Throwing a ball, push. Kicking a football, push. Pressing, plasticine, change in shape. Effects of force. Force can cause motion in a stationary body at rest. A book is lying on a table. If we apply a force of push or pull, it starts moving. Similarly, a football lying on the ground when kicked begins to move. Similarly, we apply force to push a chair, move a toy car, or move a bicycle. We can say force can cause motion in a stationary body at rest. However, it is not necessary that a force always makes a stationary body move. Force can stop a moving body. If we apply brakes to a moving bicycle, it stops. Force can change the direction of motion of the moving body. When we play badminton, we change the direction of the shuttle by applying force in the opposite direction with the help of a racket. Force can change the speed of a moving body. If a person pushes a moving swing, it will move faster, and if he pulls the swing in the opposite direction, it will slow down. Force can change the shape and size of a body. We have seen that on stretching a spring or a rubber band, its length increases and its shape and size change. Classification of force. Force may be classified into the following two classes: contact forces, non-contact forces. Contact forces, a person pulling a coiled spring. Contact forces are forces which act only when objects are in physical contact with each other and bring about changes. A person pulling a cart. Some important contact forces are muscular force, mechanical force, frictional force. Muscular force. This force is caused by the action of muscles in our body. The force resulting due to the action of muscles is known as muscular force. A boy uses muscular force to lift a bucket. A boy uses muscular force to kick a football. A girl uses muscular force to pedal the cycle. An elephant carries load. Oxen plow our fields. A camel carrying a person. Horse pulling a cart. Mechanical force. A car can move only when its wheels are made to move. The force exerted by the car engine to move the wheels is the mechanical force. A car engine burns petrol or diesel or CNG to generate mechanical force. Sailboats use the energy of wind to produce mechanical force, which propels the boats. Windmill also uses the energy of wind to produce mechanical force, which rotates the blades of the windmill. Windmill also uses the energy of wind to produce mechanical force, which rotates the blades of the windmill, which run the electric generators to produce electricity. A sailboat, windmill. Frictional force or friction. A ball rolling along the ground gradually slows down and finally comes to rest. We find no visible force appears to be acting on the ball, yet its speed gradually decreases and finally it comes to rest after some time. Friction. The force of friction between the surface of the ball and the ground that opposes the motion of the ball brings the moving ball to rest. Force. Force of friction. Non-contact forces or action at a distance force. Some forces do not involve physical contact between two bodies on which they act. They act through the space between them. Such forces are called non-contact forces. So, non-contact forces are forces which can act even when objects are not in physical contact with each other and bring about changes. Some important non-contact forces are magnetic force, electrostatic force, gravitational force. Magnetic force. A magnet exerts a force or pull on an iron clip even when they are not in contact. So, the magnetic force is an example of non-contact force. Electrostatic force. The force exerted by a charged body on another charged or uncharged body is known as electrostatic force. Tiny pieces of paper were attracted by the charged comb. It indicated that electrostatic force comes into play even when the bodies are not in contact. The electrostatic force, therefore, is another example of non-contact force. A plastic comb rubbed in the hair. Charged comb attracts small pieces of paper. Electrostatic force. Gravitational force. Every object in this universe attracts every other object with a certain force. Boy, tree, force of attraction, force of gravitation.